You have plenty of motivation, you're just using it on the wrong things. Think about it, scrolling actually takes a bit of effort. You have to stay up till 3 AM and hunt for more dopamine. You don't do that if you're lazy. You do it because you're motivated to find pleasure. When I was 17, I was so motivated to find pleasure, I would play video games on my PC and scroll Instagram reels with my other hand because I needed more and more every day. But here's the thing, that motivation for pleasure is a good thing. The only problem is that it's being pointed in the wrong direction. And it took me years to realize this, but your motivation actually runs on 3 different stages: deprivation, direction, and drive. But whenever you scroll, your brain gets stuck in the direction stage, and instead of being motivated to fix your life, you get motivated to escape it through scrolling. That's why in this video, I'll break down all 3 stages and show you how to finally unlock the right direction for your motivation, just like I did for myself and all the boys in my Discord. Because if you can do that, you'll finally find purpose in your life, you'll finally be able to make friends and stop rotting your life away. So the first stage is deprivation. Very simply, deprivation is something that you don't have, and that's that first little spark of motivation in your brain. There's the thing that you don't have, and then there's the desire for that thing. For example, in Minecraft, when your hunger bar goes down, you don't have food, and you have the desire for food because you want to stay alive. Once your brain realizes that it has the desire for food, it then sets you on a direction in which way you want to get that food. Whether that's hunting animals, or starting a farm, or stealing from villagers, anything, and that's when you feel the drive, the enthusiasm to keep going in that direction. And this is the important part because most people get this wrong. Enthusiasm is a feeling, motivation isn't a feeling. Motivation is a system in which your brain decides what it wants to do. Once your brain figures out what it wants to do, then it releases that enthusiasm feeling and it keeps you doing the thing that you want to do because it releases enthusiasm and dopamine. But this is where most people go wrong. Most people start chasing this feeling of enthusiasm, thinking it's motivation, when in reality, all you have to do is fix your system. This is why it's so easy for you to scroll for so long, because that enthusiasm of getting more pleasure, getting the thing that you're deprived from, it clouds your vision and it makes you think you're getting pleasure from scrolling, but in reality, you're just causing more deprivation. So when I was 16, COVID hit, and like everybody else, I was stuck at home, I couldn't see my friends, I couldn't go to the gym, and I was basically indoors 24/7. Every form of long-term pleasure that I had beforehand got taken away, and all I was stuck with was either scrolling, playing games, or forearm exercises. I basically spent every single day skipping my online classes and like playing Warzone with the boys or whatever. But as soon as I turned my PC off, I had nothing again. I didn't have anything that could keep me happy, and so I'd resort to filling my time with scrolling and trying to get as much dopamine as possible because there was nothing else that I could get. It was all short-term pleasure, and it was like drinking a potion in Minecraft. You drink the potion and for a little bit you feel a bit better, but as soon as it wears off, you need to get another one, and then you need to get another one, and then another one again. And the thing is, every time you fill yourself up with short-term pleasure, your life doesn't get any better. In the long run, nothing changes and you're still in the exact same situation. The only difference is that for a little bit, you felt a little bit better. Back then, my brain was deprived of happiness, and that by itself isn't a bad thing. The only problem was I chased short-term fixes instead of long-term solutions. The worst part was that my brain was forcing me to feel like I was getting better in the moment. The enthusiasm and the drive made me think that I was happy in the moment. But in reality, of course, I was doing the same thing every day. I was just living the same day on repeat, like a fucking NPC. And I won't lie to you, for years I struggled with this. Throughout all of college, throughout all of COVID, I basically lived my life exactly like this, rotting away. No matter how much I was deprived of happiness, no matter how much I wanted to change, my motivation was still pointed in the wrong direction. Here's where it gets interesting though. The second stage of motivation is direction. And this is when my brain decided that I should scroll and play games instead of actually fixing my life. I didn't realize this till a few years afterwards, but now that I've got the system, it makes so much sense. My brain wasn't broken or unmotivated. It was just pointing me in the wrong direction every single day. So for you to understand how to actually direct your motivation, you have to understand the four main principles of this stage. And the first one is the action that we're going to take. Your brain will basically go through every single action that it can think of that could potentially heal the deprivation in your life. So for example, scrolling could heal your deprivation of happiness for a little bit, or, I don't know, petting your dog could also heal your deprivation of happiness. Those are two different options. Obviously, there's like fucking millions of options. Then for every single action you can think of, there's the perceived reward of that action. And what that means is, what do you genuinely believe the reward for doing this action will be? Not what somebody else has told you on the internet. What do you believe in your heart? Do you genuinely believe that like petting your dog is going to make you happy? Or do you think that it's going to like randomly bite you and then you'll be less happy? That determines whether you actually take the action or not. And I like to think that generally, for most of us, we believe that not scrolling and being more disciplined is probably a good thing, and therefore that perceived reward of that action is going to be much higher because we know it's a good thing. But of course, when you have perceived reward, you also need perceived pain. How much pain do you genuinely believe you're going to have to go through to do this action? With scrolling, there's practically no pain unless you like scroll for so long your finger starts to hurt, and therefore that action would have very low perceived pain. But anything that requires a little bit of discipline, like, I don't know, running or going working out, there's always going to be a little bit more perceived pain. But the last and most important principle is perceived control. How much do you genuinely believe you can control the outcome of this action? Do you genuinely believe that if you scroll, you will receive your reward, which is like being happy? 9 out of 10 times, like, yeah, we do. We know the algorithm is good. We know we're going to get what we want. But do you genuinely believe that you can fix your life? Do you actually think that you could be happy? For most of my life, I didn't think so. That's why I kept rotting and I kept stuck, because this equation of perceived reward minus perceived pain times perceived control, it came out to like fucking 0.0 whatever. We want to make sure that that equation is as high as possible for the right action. For example, the equation of scrolling might result in a very high drive, but the equation of like waking up early, for you it probably results in not much. You don't believe there's any good that's going to come of it, so you don't wake up early. You don't think there's going to be any good from you working hard, so you don't work hard. You don't think there's going to be any good from you eating cleanly, from you going to the gym, from you reading books, anything. And that's why you resort to whatever you think is good for you. And that's why your motivation points you in that direction. Think about it like Minecraft again. Let's imagine that your hunger bar has gone down and you've been keeping a little animal pen. If you're hungry, your options are basically either breed the cows and then kill them later, go start another like wheat farm somewhere randomly, or kill the cows that you have right now and satisfy your need. The first two options have longer term reward, but they take a little bit more pain because there's more work associated with it. But killing the cows right now, it fixes your need right now. It gets rid of the deprivation. But if you start thinking to yourself, it's like, if I kill the cows now, later on when I'm hungrier, I'm going to need to go get more anyway. So of course it's a bad decision to make. If you kill the cows right now, you're causing yourself more pain because later on you're going to have to get more anyway when you will get hungrier later. And it's the exact same thing with scrolling. Instead of building like a farm of pleasure, instead of building an enjoyable life, you're taking away from it. You're scrolling and you're using little hits of dopamine to fulfill your deprivation of happiness. And then every time you want to feel happy, you need to keep searching for it, keep looking for dopamine, and you're never building a good life. The fucked up thing though is that even though you know that killing the cows is a bad thing, sometimes you'll still do it. Like, I'm sure you've had moments where you're lying in bed telling yourself like, oh, just one more reel, just one more TikTok. But then you keep scrolling anyway. You know that you should go to sleep, but yet you don't do it. You keep scrolling and you're still in this loop. The reason for that is your subconscious perception. I told you about perceived reward, and perceived is a very important word because it means what you believe the reward is going to be. The thing is, we don't control what we believe, not consciously anyway. Our subconscious controls our beliefs, and our subconscious is trained on our experiences, our habits, and our environment. If everybody around you scrolls, if all of your family members, all of your friends, everybody at school, everybody at your job, if everybody scrolls, then you're more inclined to believe that scrolling is a good thing because you want to be like the rest of your group. You want to be like everybody else because you want to fit in. You don't want to be the one weird random guy who nobody wants to talk to because he doesn't do the same thing as everybody else. That shit is like built in from caveman times. We all want to fit in because we don't want to be ostracized by the group. And to be fair, it's so crazy. When I'm at an airport and I see like everybody else on their phones, whatever, I'll randomly get out my phone and without realizing it, my brain like, I don't even know what to call it, like fucking reflexes or whatever. My brain will just bring out my phone and I'll start scrolling just to fit in like everybody else because it feels normal in that setting. But the problem is, whenever you're scrolling late at night, you know that all of your friends are scrolling as well. You're getting reels sent to you in DMs. You're getting people liking whatever the fuck you've posted. You're probably on social media all the time getting DMs. And all these little cycles reinforcing the fact that you should stay up late at night, keep staying on your phone, fit in with the society, with everybody else. That's what's fucking you up. Your subconscious perception on why you should keep scrolling. So if we want to change our subconscious perception, if we want to change like the autopilot beliefs that we have to change our environment and change our habits. And the nice thing is once we do that, it allows us to point our motivation in the right direction. And if we're pointing the motivation in the right direction, our brain is automatically going to engage enthusiasm. And that's how you feel motivated to do hard work. That's why you see people like David Goggins doing the same shit every day because they've hacked this loop. They know how to keep themselves doing this shit all the time. It really isn't about discipline. It's just about forcing your brain to believe that I need this thing. This is how I'm going to get it. Let's keep fucking doing it. The drive stage is exactly that. Your brain stops fighting against you and instead it releases enthusiasm and dopamine to keep you moving in the right direction. You know when we used to race each other as kids, like back in school you'd probably race with your mates, like running up and down the field. Always at the very last like 10 or 5 seconds, your brain would get this like little click of motivation to be like, oh fuck, like I'm losing the race or I'm winning the race, let me go even harder. That's that last stage of motivation. That's the drive. Or you also get this when you're scrolling. When you're lying in bed and you think to yourself like, oh, I'll just watch one more video and then I'll go to sleep. But the video goes and then you still have that drive, that enthusiasm to keep looking for pleasure. Your brain says, one more, one more, one more. That's also the drive stage. We can feel drive for any action, whether it's a good action or a bad action, it doesn't matter. But if you want to feel drive to fix in your life, first, you need deprivation. You need something, like you basically need to have a shit life because you want a good life, right? That kind of makes sense. You don't have a good life, but you have a desire for a good life, and that is your deprivation. But then of course, you also need a good direction for your motivation to point you towards. At the minute, your direction is pointing you towards scrolling because it wants to be happier, right? But we know that doesn't work because it hasn't worked for the last 5 fucking years and your life is still the same. So I'm going to give you the 3 easiest steps that I could think of that will force your brain to push it into a better direction, a direction that will actually fix your life. The first step is lower the perceived pain. Make it easy to do the action. If you can't study for 6 hours, don't tell yourself you're going to study for 6 hours. That has a lot of perceived pain attached to it. But studying for 5 minutes, that is a lot easier. Do the easy things first and make sure that you're taking things step by step. Lower the perceived pain of whatever you have to do. Instead of going to the gym for 2 hours, go to the gym for 30 minutes. Do anything to get you started. Just like in Minecraft, you don't spawn in, instantly try and kill the Ender Dragon. First, you go and punch some trees, because that's easy. If you study for 5 minutes and actually accomplish that, you're going to feel much better than telling yourself you're going to study for like 6 hours and then only getting like 5% of the way there. You fail that quest, but you can achieve this one, and once you achieve this one, that's when you're going to unlock that drive, that enthusiasm, because you're getting progress towards your result, towards your reward. And then all you have to do is progressively overload, making sure that the pain is still bearable. Now, step 2 is track progress. Track everything that you do. Track every time that you study, every workout that you do, every clean meal that you've eaten, and make sure that your brain can physically see the XP and all the gain that you're making in your real life. In a quest, in a video game, it's so easy to get addicted to it because you can see how much better you're getting every single time. Like, all of your skills are getting leveled up, and that motivates you to keep going because it releases the drive, it releases the enthusiasm, because you know you're getting closer towards a reward. So just do that in real life. Fucking track everything that you can. Make sure you know you're getting progress. Use a Google Calendar. Use MyFitnessPal. Use the Strong app. Use fucking, I don't know, whatever else you want. Even tracking your meditation is good enough. Anything that you can do to see that you're making progress every single day. Because if your brain can see progress, it will release dopamine to keep you going. The third step is increase your perceived control. And this is the hardest one, because it's easy to lower the pain of doing something. It's easy to track that thing every day. But if you don't believe it's worth it, if you don't believe that you can genuinely do this thing, that you have control over the outcome, you're not going to do it. Like, I believe that I don't have the control over me flying. I know that I can't fly, so I'm not going to go jump off a fucking cliff and try to fly. I know I don't have control over that. Same thing with you. If you don't believe that you can actually fix your life, you're not going to. And I'm not going to lie to you, it's very hard to do that alone. It's very hard to force your brain to believe that you can change when everybody else around you is a fucking NPC who doesn't do jack shit with their lives. When all of your friends, all of your family, all of your co-workers, all of your schoolmates don't change, why should you believe that you could? But you need to fix that. You need to believe that it's possible to fix your life, that it's possible to stop scrolling, to find some purpose, to make friends, that it's possible to be happy. And the way that you do that is you surround yourself with people who are already doing those things. The moment that you enter an environment where people are doing the things that you want to do, something switches in your brain, and instead of wanting to fit in with the old group, you start to want to fit in with the new group who's on a better path, who's achieving the things that you want. And that's why I made my Discord. The same energy that you'd usually use on scrolling gets pointed in a better direction, and you'll want to train, you'll want to improve your life, you'll want to stop rotting, stop scrolling, and just do something with yourself. Your perceived control goes through the fucking roof because you start to notice that it's possible for guys like you to change. Now look, at the point of me recording this video, we have around about 15 members. The Discord isn't a massive group, and that's a good thing because it means you can get to know each other way more, like, intimately sounds weird, but I think that's the right word, you know? The point is, it's not like all those other Discords where you join and there's a bunch of random people that you don't know and no one really talks to each other because like the fucking admins just post random announcements. In here, if you can get 1 or 2 guys to actually hold each other accountable, that's fucking massive, because now you're on the same path with someone and it's like you've got a fucking brother by your side supporting you and making sure that you achieve your goal just like he achieved his. Any extra support that you can get right now, any extra accountability, is so fucking worth it because it changes your environment and it changes your own self-perception about what's possible. And if you want the most help that you could possibly get, I will personally hold you accountable and support you every single day, because I wish I had something like this when I was your age. I wish someone would have told me what the fuck I was actually meant to do with myself so I could stop wasting my potential. So if you join the Discord right now and tell me that you want to change, I will personally help you stop rotting, stop scrolling, and finally fix your life. Just like I did for myself, and just like I did for the rest of the boys in the Discord. So join the Discord. let yourself become motivated in the right direction, or you can keep scrolling like a good little NPC.